Hello everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap! Dun dun dun! Here we are on Tuesday, 17th of September. RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap! Dun dun dun! That's good to hear. It is Tuesday, and of course we got a big event happening in the market, FOMC meeting for tomorrow, Wednesday. So as a result, I see most of the broader markets are kind of on pause, getting ready for that event. Our conversation of late has been a lot around sort of, what does the market look like around these big, ugly FOMC events? Not really a whole new conversation around oil. There's still wranglings going on around that. And as we sort of talked about it, ahead of the Fed meeting, we can't read too much into the market, but I do see risk off is catching a bit of a bid here this morning, and stocks and oils backing off a little bit. Turns out Saudi Arabia might have their production on a little bit faster than expected. But I think with us all on pause ahead of the Fed, not a heck of a lot new for me to add to this conversation this morning. So today, considering the considerable, considering the movement around crypto, I thought we really ought to have our conversation focus on that. And we spent a lot of time in the daily brief going over that. So I spent a lot of time watching the higher time frame trends and using my moving average system, 13 EMA, 30 SMA, to sort of give me an idea of sort of what the tone of trend is. And I think to a certain degree, a lot of the crypto market is still in a downtrend. You can see bear, 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 bear. There are some markets that are bucking the overall trend, like Monero here hung in, and as you saw here, Bitcoin's still bull. Ethereum's holding on to its bull status, like clawing thumb and nail. But at the same time, too, we spent a lot of time in our conversation today talking about there seems to be a seed shift going on here in the sort of medium tier altcoin names, if you will. I don't know whether this is a Altcoin rally. I think the Schultz are still sort of in the cupboard. But the medium-term names seem to be catching bids. So a lot of our conversation today on the Daily Brief was all around setups that seem to be coming in on various different altcoins. So for the purposes of today's conversation with you guys, I thought maybe we'd take a good look at what's going on here in these sort of medium-tier names in the crypto space. So kind of like what we said a moment ago, heading into the Fed meeting, I think the U.S. dollar index itself is still trying to figure out whether it's topped out here or not. The higher highs and higher lows still projects we're in a bull here. And of course, if you look at the trend off of the U.S. dollar on the weekly 1330 moving average, still uppy. But around the Fed announcement tomorrow, don't be surprised if you see some really wild action on the U.S. dollar. What I did find interesting was looking at the Bitcoin price. If you actually look at like a daily U.S. dollar and then look at a daily Bitcoin, it's quite remarkable actually the similarity in price pattern here over the past week or two. I don't know whether Bitcoin breaks down here or not. We do have sort of the debate that's raging on the site. Is Bitcoin a bull? Is Bitcoin a bear? And we talked a little bit about this chart. I tweeted out that a bearish bot setup fired on the failure of 10,157. But please understand, this is like lower time frame, hourly charts, swing traders, that kind of stuff. At the same time, too, we're watching for this potential bullish bot setup. And, with the failure of 10,157, we needed to see some cleanup here before the bullish could start getting going again. But my hunch here, folks, I hate to say it, is I think as this sort of graphic illustrates, I think Bitcoin right now, and look how close the bull-bear battle lines are, right? They're like literally a difference of less than $100. I think Bitcoin for the time being is trapped in this sort of wedge off the lower time frames. And I do like the idea of Bitcoin usually consolidates, and then following the Fed announcement, that's when we get our move on Bitcoin. So, that Fed announcement is about 11:30 Pacific time tomorrow. And we have a rule: do not trust the first hour following the Fed announcement. They have a press conference following the Fed announcement now. So it makes it really simple. Just wait till the end of that press conference and then look at your price charts or direction. Because my hunch is, just like all the other currencies, and I thought it was kind of funny in the daily brief today, we joked about how some brokerage houses now are actually putting Bitcoin in their currencies sort of matrix and breakdown. So I thought that was kind of an interesting anecdote. I do kind of feel like Bitcoin is turning into its own currency. So with that said, not a heck of a lot going on in the Bitcoin itself. But when we look at the broader measures, some really interesting developments here. Of course, we've been following the dominance and dominator and all that kind of conversation forever. And we're finally getting the signs of, okay, maybe things are cooling down here for dominance. Hopefully everybody can see this nice polite M that's come in on the dominance, meaning, maybe Bitcoin just continues its sideways consolidation. And I hate to say it, but I do see a lot of similarities between last year's triangle. And if I just quickly draw this, hopefully you can see this. Zoom down like that. Well, actually, here I want a ray, don't I? So where's ray? There to there, and then along here, and then ultimately lose the lows. So I hate to say it, folks, but we see a lot of similarities here. So there to there, and bumping along these lows. Do we lose these lows? I don't know whether we play out the same way as we did last year. But I was sharing on the site some interesting commentary. There was one gentleman who put out an interesting video that sort of spoke to this, that usually after about the third or fourth test of these sort of bottoms of these triangles, that's when all hell usually breaks loose. So I still like the idea of us fishing, and then of course remember, Mr. Gann is floating out there. He would absolutely love, just because he's a 50% kind of guy, he would love to see a nice little dump here and then like a quick reaction out of there just to validate his 50% rule. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we're going forward. Also notice too, you see how dominance M'd out here. Then we went through a period of, and let's see, just for fun actually, I wouldn't mind just sort of keeping this on the radar screen. So dominance broke down there, and then 57 days later, all hell broke loose. Does that mean that this sort of 57 days could very easily be sort of our altcoin rally window? And oh wow, that's freaky. Look how 57 days takes us right to the end of that little consolidation triangle. So interesting correlation with what we see, what happened last year and what's happening right now. So the point that I'm trying to make here is I don't think you're going to be making your fortunes. And I heard some guy today come out on these crypto news feeds. $300,000 Bitcoin. That's where it's going, folks. It's like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. So as long as I hear that kind of talk, it scares the hell out of me. I find it really hard to believe that we're going to be in a whole new bull up phase just yet. But having said that, where is money to be made in this space? And what I've noticed, and remember, this is just Brian's opinion. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I would be doing with my money. And of course, we talked lots recently about Ethereum put in. And on these charts here, I have the weekly charts, because this was sort of the theme of our conversation in the daily brief today, is you can really make this easy for yourself if you just hunt these inside bar reversals. So like Ethereum, for example, you can see, it's great that we came down to the original breakout point, beg your pardon, and we turned off of that. But what I really want people to focus in on is you notice that this is an inside bar. This bar's action was completely contained within this bar. So the breakout above this is actually a candlestick buy signal. And of course, if we change that to a daily chart, keep that reference level in mind, and lo and behold, look at the W that formed there, and whoop, up we go. And what's really great to see is we're actually starting to see some buyers come in, big chunky bars. So it looks to me like the market's validating this setup. Now, again, I really don't like that $300,000 Bitcoin price projections. I see some people now are saying, oh, Ethereum's going to $500 a coin. It's just like, oh, Jesus, stop with that talk. What's realistic here? And what I've been, this setup that I produced about a week or so ago when this actually came in, we were going to use 264 as our price objective, which I think is realistic. Keep your price objectives realistic. But I also noticed too, and I thought this was really cool, I used to work with an old CME pit trader. Everybody on the site knows him, John Hoagland. In fact, actually, I'm really proud. We had a couple recent graduates at TRI program who went over to my old prop firm, and now are funded traders there. So the stuff that TRI teaches, it works. And now they're just being prop traders. Way to go, guys. Anyway, the point that I would just make is that Mr. Hoagland, he's a huge fan of this value trade. So my hunch is that we rally up into, and again, what a coincidence, top of value here is that 260, 265 area. And notice that all that's going to be is just simply a test of the original M top that came in here. So I'm liking stabs up into this area. $500 of Ethereum, maybe not. Same sort of thing with Litecoin. You can see where the top of value is. There's even a cute little notch right up there to be filled in. He's slowly working away. And, this is what I really am excited about here. Been sort of a little bit talking to the public about this. I'm sort of still working this model out, but this is a study of MACD, but on volume, to sort of tell you when that push is going to happen. And I absolutely love when you get these tight consolidations in volume momentum. And look how this is it's like a spring. It's like a coil that's just wound up really, really tight. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And hello, look at the breakouts that are coming here. So on top of the fact that we have, technical setups, L-tangonators, all that kind of stuff, now I'm starting to get like anecdotal evidence that volume is really ramping up here. And my rule is I like 1W to sort of stop whatever sort of bear slide. And then, so that's 1W, and I like the second W, this one here, to actually tell me that we're rocking and rolling. And notice we just broke out of there too. So we got 2 W's working here on the Ethereum, and I love this volume study. I'm so impressed with it. So, it just happens to validate setups that we've been talking about for a while now. But it's good to see that we're actually finally starting to see volume come back in on the long side. Now, some other names that we're taking a look at here. And just do the same logic. It's not rocket science. It just takes just a stunning amount of patience and discipline, that's all. So, Litecoin. Remember we showed you that setup just a moment ago? Can you see the inside bar that fired last week? Nobody's interested in this. This piece of shit's going to zero. Oh, hello. Here comes a rally. Do we have some others in this space? Here's Cripple. And actually, I put out a tweet to this effect. Again, inside bar. And if we change this to a daily chart, you notice that inside bar level just so happens to be double bottom breakout level on volume. Sexalicious. So, great to see. There's lots of little names that are perking up here. Here's a few that are just getting going now. So, you're like, Brian, don't tell me about trades that are good. I want to know about something I can look at now. Well, here's, we'll start off with ones that are just taking off. So here is Tron. Same sort of idea. I wonder what Mr. Sun is up to now. Hopefully you can see that inside bar. I remember we had a gentleman on the site through the summertime who asked me, well, should we buy Tron up here? And I was like, oh, no way, man. But now look at this trade location. I mean, this is what we want to hunt for, people. So reload zones, am I at or below reload zone? And hello, in comes our inside bar. And of course, same sort of conversation as we said before. Change that to a daily chart, and hello, there's your big fat W. Isn't that cool? I mean, when I see this stuff, it's just like, damn. So, that's one that's just taken off. Here's another one, ADA. Look at him, right down at the bottom end of his range. Basically gave back almost all of this spring rally. And in comes an inside bar. And again, let's change this to a daily chart. And lo and behold, hello, W. So the cool part about this is they're coming in right across the board. And I want to piss off? Like, look at this goddamn ETC. Drive you nuts. I knew that thing was a buy. Goddamn son of a bitch. My broker wouldn't allow me to do the trade. But there's another example of a double bottom. It's weird how ETC's chart on crypto doesn't really look that good. I don't know why that ETF is so bullish. But anyway, it is what it is. And now, to finish off today's broadcast, because I don't know how long I've been, but probably way over time, here's one that's just developing as we speak, NEO. So this happens to be on Binance. You can see the original double bottom level, down, up, down, breakout. Away we go, up, up, up. Draw your reload zones. And if I was going to be a buyer, where should I be concentrating on my efforts? And there is a reload zone. All right, give me some sort of inside bar, please. Come on, give me an... Hello! Look at what's happening as we speak. And I often say that we often see the market will actually lose the 78.6, but then ultimately come back and recapture it and actually bottom off that level. So if we change that to a daily chart, do we have any W's to work with? Well, there it is, folks. So we're giving you one just as it's setting up as we speak here. And really nice, simple level. Looks like this is, NEO versus USD on Binance. Obviously you're going to have to check out your own exchange that you trade. 966, let's call it 966.8. We'll even make a reference there. We'll go 9.668. If you see a trade through that, then I think this double bottom is fired. And today's high is 9.667. Oh, so close. So it's just sitting there, Traders got to trade. There you go. Merry Christmas. Have yourselves a great day. Toodaloo. Bye for now.